and is best known for Enough. Oh, that's totally what I know him from. Ooh, scary. Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess, and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. Today, I'm going to talk about The Rocketeer. The Rocketeer is a 1991 theatrical release. It is directed by Joe Johnston, cinematography by Hiro Narita, editing by Arthur Schmidt, music by James Horner, and is written by Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo. I covered everybody except the writers. In previous videos, they will be listed and linked in the description. Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo are a writing team, so they are best known for The Flash, The Sentinel, Viper, and this. The Rocketeer is actually based off a graphic novel / comic series of the same name by Dave Stevens. The Rocketeer made his first appearance in Pacific Comics in 1982, and it has had a very long life. Dave Stevens intended it to be an homage to the original hero serials through the 30s and 50s, and that really comes through. And I have a very long list of its life that I just am not going to be able to memorize. So the first adventure was in number 2 and number 3 of the Star Slayer series. There were 2 more installments in Pacific Presents number 1 and 2. The 4th chapter was a cliffhanger, and it concluded in Eclipse Comics. Eclipse then released the entire story, The Rocketeer, in a book. It went on to have Rocketeer Adventure Magazine in 1989, and then we had The Rocketeer Adventures in 2011, Rocketeer Cargo of Doom in 2012, Rocketeer Hollywood Horror in 2013, and Rocketeer and the Spirit Pulp Friction in 2013, The Rocketeer Jetpack Adventures in 2014, and Rocketeer at War in 2015. There have been many installments and iterations and recombining into a book, and there's just been a lot going on. And then obviously it was made into a film in 1991. Dave Stevens was very adamant about being on set and sticking to his source material. So the film stars Billy Campbell, Jennifer Connelly, Alan Arkin, and Timothy Dalton. Billy Campbell plays Cliff, and is best known for Enough, Bram Stoker's Dracula, The 4400, and this. Jennifer Connelly plays Jenny. We love that. And she's best known for A Beautiful Mind, House of Sand and Fog, Requiem for a Dream, and this. Alan Arkin plays Peavy, and he's best known for Argo, Little Miss Sunshine, Glengarry Glen Ross, and Edward Scissorhands. Timothy Dalton plays Neville Sinclair, and is best known for The Living Daylights, Flash Gordon, License to Kill, and Hot Fuzz. Dave Stevens optioned the rights to this film to Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo, and all 3 of them really wanted it to be a black and white, serial, traditional, low-budget feel. William Deere came on as director, and he made it a little bit more family-friendly, but kept the main plot. And then in 1986, they started shopping and pitching to studios, and in the same year, Touchstone Pictures picked it up, which was really exciting. And then Jeffrey Katzenberg decided to switch it over to Disney, which was devastating to Stevens. The film then went through rewriting. Paul DeMeo and Danny Bilson were fired and rehired 3 different times. The studio wanted to make it modern, and they fought so hard against it. They finally agreed to let it be a period piece, and then William Deere finally resigned as director because he just couldn't handle Disney anymore, and that's when Joe Johnston stepped in and said he would love to direct it because he loves the comic, and the film finally got greenlit in 1990, so it went through like 5 years worth of rewrites. Casting for Cliff was really difficult. They saw some big names: Kevin Costner, Dennis Quaid, Kurt Russell, Bill Paxton, Emilio Estevez, Johnny Depp, all people they saw for Cliff, and then they landed on Billy Campbell, and Joe Johnston had to convince Disney to let them cast Billy because he wasn't a big name at the time. And then casting Jennifer was a little bit easier. They saw quite a few people, but Jennifer really landed the role, and then Jennifer and Billy kind of started a real relationship, so then the chemistry was already there. They started filming on September 19th, 1990, and they filmed at the Griffith Park Observatory, which is in LA. Been there many times. They filmed there in November of 1990. They went 50 days over schedule because of weather issues, believe it or not. The budget got rose? They got more money? It was originally a $25 million budget, but after seeing dailies and really loving them, they agreed to let the budget be $35 million. And the Zeppelin explosion cost $400,000 alone. Dave Stevens was there night and day, no matter what shooting times were happening. Dave Stevens was there because he was so adamant about it being according to his vision, and Disney was very against this at the time, which is so sad. If the comic is successful, do it according to the like, come on. And then Dave Stevens gave all of his reference drawings to the costuming and production design departments about all of his reference drawings for his entire Rocketeer universe, and that's why it was so authentic to his universe. The film earned a domestic $46.6 million, which makes it a disappointment. They released it under the Touchstone Pictures banner in other countries. It has a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, and both Roger Ebert and Leonard Maltin is a famous Disney historian critic person, enjoyed the film. However, Leonard Maltin did say it's too talky and takes too long to get where it's going. The film was originally supposed to be the first of a trilogy, but after the first one didn't perform well, they scrapped the 2 other film ideas. In 2016, it was announced that there was going to be a reboot. Sounds like a show it's going to be, called The Rocketeers. It's supposed to take place 6 years after the original. This was in a very adult film, I feel like. It was family friendly. It didn't have any swears or super inappropriate content, although there were a couple of boob shots of Jennifer that I was like, okay, it's not for kids. But it was way more adult than what Disney has been doing. I am surprised they didn't release it under Touchstone Pictures. So I think this is really setting the tone for stuff like Pirates of the Caribbean and other films like that come out under the Disney name, where it's technically a family film, but has some adult themes and content. That being said, I could not agree with Leonard Maltin more on the fact that the film is just slow. It takes a long time to get to the good stuff. In my notes, I waited so long to see him be a hero, and then he was just some guy with a jetpack the whole time. He saves one person, right when he has the jetpack, and then, he saves his girlfriend. And that's it. He doesn't save a lot of people. I mean, he saves the world at the end of the movie. Technically, because he, defeats some Nazis and keeps the Nazis from getting jetpack equipment. So, that's great. But I have the last 30 minutes of this film are by far the best. It gets going in the last 30 minutes. There's so much action and there's so much stuff going on in the last 30 minutes, and it was so good in the last 30 minutes, but it took forever to get there. It felt like an eternity. Leonard Maltin was exactly right. It was too talky and it took way too long to get where it was going. I couldn't agree with that note more. There was a hidden Mickey. Jennifer Connelly is an actual baby in this film. I couldn't believe how young she looked. That was nuts. And that's it. The film it felt so average until the last 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes I was like, oh, here we go. Some action is happening. And then, but everything before that I was very is he gonna be a hero ever? He uses the jetpack 3 times. What is... Also, there was this whole thing about the helmet in pre-production. About it's gotta be the perfect design for the helmet, and the helmet is hideous. I personally hate the helmet. I get that it needs to have the long thing to be a rudder so he can steer or whatever, I get it, but it's so ugly. It's just not cute at all, so I digress. Overall, I enjoyed the film. I do think it's above average. The cinematography was incredible, the effects were cool, Industrial Light and Magic did a great job, and I really liked the acting. I thought everybody did a really good job. It just... the part that makes it just a little average is how long it takes to get everywhere. It was just so slow up until a certain point. It's very dialogue heavy all the way up until the last 30 minutes where it really, really shines. And it has such amazing parts, little pieces that are yes, this could be so good, and this could be so good, and this could be so good. But then it's just died down, dragged down by all the dialogue, and just relax. Show us, don't tell us. So I say above average. My final rating for this is 7 jetpacks out of 10. So it's still a good rating. I still enjoyed the movie. It's just not the greatest. This is available on Disney Plus. So if you have Disney Plus, by all means, go ahead and watch The Rocketeer and then come back and talk with me about it. So, you know, do that. Our total movie count is... Parent death toll and credit count are still the same. If you want to keep up with what movie I'm watching when, follow me on Instagram or Twitter. You'll find out what movie I'm watching when. I put out videos every Monday and Friday and sometimes Wednesday. Please join my Patreon. If you haven't joined my Patreon yet, please do so. You can get bonus videos, behind the scenes content, live streams, Q&As, personal vlogs, personal video calls, merch when it becomes available. All that and more down below. Click the Patreon link, sign up, join my Patreon. It'll be great. Great. Until next time, comment, like, subscribe, and I don't know if you are, so you do. And don't be Neville Sinclair about it, but also in a bigger picture, don't be a Nazi, okay? Dude, that Zeppelin explosion cost $400,000 and it was fine. Like, it wasn't the most impressive thing I've ever seen. I like, this movie could have been so much more, and I'm upset it wasn't. Like, it had all the makings of a great superhero movie, and then just like, and I loved that it was a period piece. I was very excited for that. And